Hello, glorious souls. Welcome to your Soul Service Astrology update for the 23rd of May, 2022. Hi, I'm Kel. I'm a 13 sign sidereal astrologer. That means the astrology I refer to is matched with the astronomy you can see in the sky. I think that's really important. We need to be looking at our environment. If we look at our environment, which includes the sky, it allows us to connect more deeply with that is part of us. We are part of the ecology. So we need to be looking at it to connect with it. That's why I think 13 sign sidereal astrology is the place where we can come back to our ecological selves by looking at the sky. If you would like to work with me, you can come and join my membership community called Eco Alchemy, and you can find all the details for that at ecoalchemy.org. I also do birth chart evaluations. So go and check out my website, kellygunter.com or soulserviceastrology.com for all those details. And of course, you can subscribe here every week. I will have the celestial energies for you. This is a very interesting week we have coming up. There's no really big astrological events occurring. We do have a new moon the following week. However, the energy feels big, doesn't it? Well, I've certainly felt the energy has felt big. It's been reflected in all my clients as well as to how they've felt that big energy. And then some of the things that I've been reading online said that there's this really big energy. So hold yourself in compassion, ensure that you are feeling your emotions and feeling what you need. What do you need in that moment? You are allowed as an individual, as a sovereign individual, even though you're part of the collective, to say, I need to take a step back. I need to be doing less. I need to be tending to my mind, my body, my emotions, and perhaps my environment to support me first. Okay to do that, right? Let's dive into this week so we can see some more detail. As I share my screen, there is Monday's chart. I'll just move my little boxes around. So we have the sun and the moon conjunct on Monday. The sun and the moon are often, the sun and Mercury are often conjunct, because if you think about our solar system, we have the sun and then we have Mercury. So Mercury usually isn't very far away from the sun. Mercury is retrograde at the moment. So what I just said at the beginning, it's really providing you an opportunity, a reminder. If you're listening to this, this is a reminder that you're allowed to give your mind a rest. In the sign of Taurus, we often like to keep things simple. We might be looking for a bit more consistency. We might be seeking some grounding. We might be seeking some mental decluttering. And the practices that support that the best, I've found for me personally, are yoga practices. And I'm not just talking about asana, although asana is very good for us. I'm also talking about pranayama, the breathing exercises, meditation, and of course, inquiring into some of the other personal inner practices in the 8 limbs of yoga, which is referred to as the niyamas. So they're the internal. The yamas are the ethical guidelines. The niyamas are our internal practices. So you can maybe go and find a South Indian practitioner and explore that for yourself if that fits with you. But I've certainly found it a wonderful support for, in particular, my mind. So that's the opportunity that Monday presents for us, is an opportunity to just check in. Do we need to be calming the thoughts in the mind? Do we need to be taking a rest, decluttering, simplifying, all those sorts of things? And with the astrology that I present to you, it's all a co-creation. So I'm not telling you this to say this is what the energy will be. I want you to check in with what's going on for you. I want you to check in with your mind, your body, your emotions, your environment, your spirit, consciousness, and feel what you need at that given moment. All right, so that's Monday. Tuesday, we have Jupiter sextile the sun. So a sextile for me is the feeling of we have everything that we need. Now, if we look at Pisces, there is still a lot of energy in Pisces. And this energy in Pisces, I feel like that's perhaps why everyone's feeling quite emotional and uncomfortable, because there is this collective pull towards embracing all of our intelligences, not just our logical, analytical mind intelligence, but the intelligence of the body, which is why there's so much discussion about the heart brain and the gut brain. The intelligence in our emotions, you know, there's this unreleasing where, you know, I got taught, shove your emotions down, put a facade on, pretend everything's all right, but shove those emotions down. Do not talk about them. If you talk about your emotions, you are sensitive and you are vulnerable, right? Those are all sort of starting to release now. Emotional intelligence is one of our superpowers. And then what I'm encouraging people to do now is to end the separation with their ecological self, to tap back into the environment, because that is, the earth is us and we are the earth. And we should really be tending to that connection as well. This is a big call for that to happen. And then, of course, we have that connection to consciousness. Now, if you go in through the body, the mind, if you go in through the environment and your emotions, you will start tapping into consciousness. And there is this call for us to embrace our mystical intelligence, which is what I've just described. Now, this call really started when Jupiter entered Pisces, and that's where Jupiter still is, and we have Neptune and Mars still very close together. So if you're going to do anything towards, you know, what is this mystical intelligence Kelly is talking about? If you're going to do anything, I would encourage you to go and explore the practices that make you feel uncomfortable, the practices that maybe take you out and expand you into your curiosity and expand you, like, what if there's more here than what I'm seeing, right? So when Jupiter, what I've just described there, is expanding into the what if, there's more here than what I can physically see. What if I'm connected to it all? And that says it's everything you need to become that mystically infused creator, because that's the sun. So it's almost like I want you to embrace yourself as that creative architect. Like Taurus is the architect. Think it's your life by design. That's what architects do, right? They look at the environment. They use the things that they have. If it's an architect working in light aspect, of course, some architects go overboard. But let's think about an architect working in light aspect. They only take what they need from the environment. They design their structure. Think of your structure as your life within the boundary of the environment. So Taurus is very ecologically connected. You know, it doesn't want to take too much from the environment. Taurus in shadow aspect is using materialism to fill up their desires, right? So that's a pattern that we need to break, because that is damaging our environment. So here we have embraced the mystical intelligence so that we can come back to our ecological selves and end this cycle of overconsumption, because we're breaking the ecological laws at the moment and we need to correct that. But you have everything that you need to do this. Now, sometimes this is going to feel really uncomfortable, but I would encourage you to sit in that uncomfortableness, that's a word, and move through it, because it's only through sitting through uncomfortableness will we change. I have never changed through comfort. I've always changed through discomfort. And I know that sounds horrible, but it's really the way humans can change. And we're starting to see a lot of things happen in our environment that maybe is making us very uncomfortable. And that's really, we need to step up a gear and start making those changes. So I would encourage you to inquire within. Now, I appreciate that these ecological changes that we need to make are not just driven by an individual or individuals. Collectively, we can start to make the changes and they have ripple effects out. But of course, the collective needs to start driving that so that governments and policies and big business start to also make the changes. just remember there's more of us than the politicians, and then there's more of us than the billionaires as well. So we can rise up and we can change things, and humans have always done that. Very imaginative creatures we are. All right, so the moon joins. There's a massive stellium, this massive energy in Pisces up here. So the moon joins, like the new moon a month ago was in Pisces. That's where the new moon was. So a great inquiry for Wednesday would be, what has changed? What has shifted within my emotions or feeling states since the new moon in April? So we had an Aries new moon at the beginning of May, and around the beginning of April, we had the Pisces new moon. So it's about 6 weeks ago. So what has shifted for you in relation to your emotional state? And if you're still feeling confused, if you're still feeling a little bit discombobulated, I would invite you to tap into the power of your body. I would invite you to get out into nature. I would invite you to do some exercise. All these ways are really wonderful experiential and embodied ways to shift energy and feelings, but you're definitely allowed to feel what you feel. But that's a great inquiry for you to look at on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have Pluto, trine, Mercury. Now, these are both retrograde. So this energy is a retrograde, even though it's a trine energy. So there's this flow state. So trine is flow state in two retrograding planets. This flow state with the two retrograding planets means that you kind of perhaps coming to terms with the fact that I can recalibrate, I can regenerate, I can take a rest, I can renew. And after that phase, then I can regrow. You know, it's death, Pluto, death is part of life. And we need to kill some thoughts in the mind for us to be able to craft, Taurus, craft our life by intentional and ecological design. And so there's that embracing and perhaps grieving of things that are dying within you. Perhaps there's things that you were letting go of with this Mercury retrograde and eclipse season, because the eclipse season this week will be coming to an end. This is towards the end of the eclipse season. So it's a bit of mopping up. And we've sat through the fire of this eclipse season. And now you're allowed to grieve and you're allowed to let go, but it should feel a little bit easier. There is a sort of a bit of minor triangle energy here, and this energy is actually really lovely. And because it's pointing all this energy up here in Pisces, just remember that you are deeply interconnected to everything and deeply held. And if you need to let go of something or someone, just know everything's going to be okay. And the thing I have with my thoughts, if there's a thought or a pattern or a habit, and I'm coming up to overcoming that fear, that pattern, that habit that's been with me for a long time, and I start letting it go, you realize there's this massive strength. There's this massive internal strength. Oh my God, I did something I didn't think I could do. And you start doing that step by step, inch by inch, and you'll realize your own strength and your own power. And that's what I want us to all be, right? That's what I want us to all come back to. So that's Thursday. Friday, there is a square with Pluto to Venus. So this energy might bring up the final fears that need to be cleared out at the back end of this eclipse season. So it's a great opportunity. And I say this is always a great opportunity for you to sit down, feel into your body, ask yourself, how am I really feeling at the moment? You know, how's my body? How's my mind? Am I really in the place that I want to be? Is there something else I need? But you don't necessarily need to answer that from your intellect. You can answer that from your intuition, through your body, through a knowing, through a vision, through something that you hear. Is there something there that needs to go? And on Friday, the 27th, it is also, I'm just looking at my notes here, it's also a balsamic moon, and the balsamic moon's in Pisces. So it's actually a really supportive time to do some shadow work. And by shadow work, I mean going into your subconscious and checking in. Is there a fear here that is programming my reality, that no, it's holding me back, is limiting me, and I don't really need this anymore and I can let it go? So we can go into our subconscious basement. You can do the intuitive intelligence micro method. What else can you do? You can go and see an Akashic records practitioner. Make sure you get one that is culturally sensitive to the practice, and shift these thoughts. So that's just, and that will help you tap more into your intuitive intelligence and connect more with consciousness. And again, that coming back to the ecological principle and the energetic principle that we are all connected and whether we're all one, right? And then we move into Saturday, the 28th, and Sunday, the 29th. I'm just double checking my notes here. Just double checking my notes here to make sure I've spoken. Oh, I did, good. I've just spoken about some changes that have happened in the chart. All right, so Saturday and Sunday, you can see here that Jupiter and Mars are going to be conjunct in Pisces. Now, if you live on the east coast of Australia, I think that you should still be able to see this in the early morning sky. So before the sun comes up, you should be able to see this conjunction because Jupiter's quite bright in the sky. It might be around 4 a.m. It might be a bit earlier, and you should be able to see Mars. You'll be able to see them with the naked eye. You'll be able to see this conjunction. So this is a really, it could feel really big or it could feel really joyous. You get to decide. It could be both. We have the expansive liberator towards our mystical intelligence, towards our spiritual knowing that we are all connected. Then we have this warrior energy coming in there and really holding us in our strength and our power and saying, yep, this is definitely what we are. And I get to embrace my strength. I get to embrace my energy, and I get to direct it where I see fit. And I'm only really responsible for me here at this point in time, but I know because we're all interconnected that it will ripple out and have effects. Making sure, of course, that we're not acting from shadow Jupiter, we're just dreaming up things to get, or shadow Mars, where we're fighting a fight, but we don't really know why we're fighting the fight. So you really want to get clear. Mars is all about getting really clear and focused on what it is that will really light me up. What do I feel in my heart? What is my intuition really guiding me to do? And with Jupiter, it's like, where can I expand into the potentiality of that? And these two merging together it's meant to be a dynamic union, this coming together of this expansive energy, expanding into your potentiality and being really focused and kind of protective of that. That's that warrior energy. This is really me. I'm allowed to do this. It doesn't mean I'm crazy, right? Because lots of people that would talk to me would think I'm absolutely batshit crazy. But there's also lots of us that are aware of the ecological law of interconnectedness, and of course, the energetic law of interconnectedness and entanglement, and they go hand in hand. So that's it for this week. I'll stop my share if I'm able to. That's it for this week. I do hope that you embrace a rest and a renewal and a recalibration, that you can sit in the fire and perhaps the discomfort of any limits or thoughts or beliefs or feelings that come up, and know on the other side of those feelings of discomfort is a release, is a surrender, is a trust to our strength and our power and our knowing that we are a truly interconnected species on this planet, here to serve the planet and the people and to raise consciousness. I kind of feel like that's happening at the moment. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. This will be one of my main channels going forward. And also, if you'd like to work with me, you can go and check out soulserviceastrology.com. Have a glorious week. Bye.